buyer tours using, got some feedback there, using both Cloud CMA and RPR. And they're going to look a little different, but it's just to give you some options if you're more comfortable with one or you like the look of one over the other. So I'm going to walk through both of them for you. And one of them is from your phone and one of them is from the computer. So I am on here twice for that purpose. So I am going to show you the Cloud CMA version of a buyer tour first. If you had attended classes on the CMA that we did more recently in Cloud CMA, if you practice that at all, then you will know this will be super easy. It's the same steps to do the buyer tour as it is to create a CMA using Cloud CMA. But basically what I'm going to walk through is you have a buyer and you are going to take them to see multiple properties and you want to either give them something in paper, something to hand them other than like those, you know, the full detail sheets that you guys get off of the MLS. That's a lot of data, maybe doesn't have a big picture of the home, hard for that visual for the client to really kind of remember which ones, or maybe you're going to see multiple and they need a good way to take notes and be able to tell the difference between the different properties that you see. This is just going to give you a really easy way to do that. Now with the Cloud CMA version, you will have collected those addresses or MLS numbers ahead of time before you come here to create the buyer tour. So you either got them from the MLS, that client sent them to you, and you, let's say you've got 4 properties that you want to show a buyer, but you want to give them something to take notes or keep track of those properties. That's what I'm going to show you in Cloud CMA. First, you log in. The web address is cloudcma.com. MP Dodge does provide an account to any agent that wants one for Cloud CMA. We don't automatically set you up with an account when you first join the company because we pay per account and not every agent uses it, but we would love to create one for anyone who wants one. You can absolutely have one. So if you don't have one that you know of, I can check. And if you know you don't have one, I can absolutely set you up with one today after the class. So I am going to walk through the buyer tour. I logged into cloudcma.com and you can see I'm here. There's the web address. Now I am going to go ahead and go straight to where it says buyer tour at the top. When I click there, it will take me to kind of my dashboard of all my previous buyer tours that I've created in the past. To create a new one, I will click create buyer tour. And then I'm going to have 4 steps. This program, everything is these same 4 steps here at the top that where you see criteria, listings, customize, and publish. All 4 of those steps, anything you create in this program are those 4 steps. So if you know how to do one of them, if you know how to do a buyer tour, you can create a CMA. If you know how to do a CMA, you can create a property report and reverse. So the first thing I'm going to do is name the report and it asks for the client name. So I'm going to name this, Dwayne, I'm going to pick on you. Dwayne Sullivan is my buyer. So I'm going to put his name there. I have the ability to create some notes about this report if I want to. You'll see the little lock sign. You'll see the note underneath the box that says private notes don't appear in the report. So that is for you as the agent if you need to note something to yourself about this tour that you're going to do. If not, you leave it blank. And then over to the right, you can see where it says listings. Here is where I'm going to enter my MLS numbers. Now, when I enter MLS numbers in this box, I need to either separate them by a comma, a space, or return. So on a different line. I grabbed some before this class. So I'm going to grab them quick and paste them in here. Let me get rid of the information I don't need. So Dwayne, my buyer, wants to see these 4 homes. I have put them all on different lines. And then I'm going to click the button Fetch Listings. When I click Fetch, this is where it's going to speak to the MLS and it's going to pull those properties. It's going to place them all on a map. So you can see here are my 4 properties that I want to take my client to. I'm going to scroll down. You can see here all the properties. If I want to expand the details to see a little bit more about them, I can do that right underneath that checkbox. I can scroll down and see the properties here. Yep, that's the right one. Here's my second property. Looks good. Okay, so they're all great. I can change the order by clicking and dragging if I want to change the order in which they're going to appear in the report. Just did that little grab there. When you see that hand and that four-way arrow, that is a move button. So that is step 2. Mapped, there they all are. And then I can click Customize Report. Once I click the Customize Report, you're going to see the Customize section, which is really determining what pages we want to be a part of this buyer tour. So we have the option of all of the documents that are in here. So this is a PDF that I'm going to show you that's going to be printable that you can hand to your client, but this one also has kind of a live or interactive digital version. So I'm going to show you that as well. Let's look at this cover. If I click on it, I can see this is the PDF preview of the cover that's going to appear with this report. If I don't care for that cover, I can close that preview, and then you'll see this negative sign to the left of the title. I can click that and come over to the left side, and this is kind of my library of documents. I can come in and say, I don't like cover number 1. What's cover number 2? Do I want that one? Do I want number 3? Let's say I want number 3. I can just click that plus sign, and you'll see it popped over into my report. I can move these documents up and down with that same four-way arrow. So just click and drag if I want to change where the documents are at in the presentation. The nice thing about Cloud CMA is if I go through and I modify these documents and I remove some, maybe I change where they're at, maybe I add some from the library over here, it will remember it the next time you come to do a report. So the next time I come to do a buyer's tour, if I take the time, my first one, to go through these documents and really look at them. So if I need to come in and say, okay, what is this marketing page? Do I want that to be a part of my buyer's tour? If the answer is no, you can just click it out. You don't have to keep all of these documents in there. Are there any questions on this customize step? Like I said, there are quite a few pages in this one. No? Okay, so I was just moving the documents in and out. I can view them by looking at the title by clicking on it, and then I can move them up and down in the location if I slide them by dragging, click, drag, and drop. So let's say that's ready to go. I can click the publish report at the top, or I can click publish report at the bottom. It's going to do the same thing. And that's the 4th step. So that has now created a buyer's tour. I really just needed to know the MLS numbers, what order I wanted those in, and what documents I want to be a part of that buyer tour report that you're going to print to give to your client. Now, remember, this is the PDF version. I'm going to show you a kind of a live version of the same thing. They kind of work in tandem. It's nice to have both. But those 4 steps are all you need to create one of these tours. Up at the top, you'll see we did publish. It was publishing, and now I have the option to view the PDF. So I'm going to click on that, and we're going to take a look. You guys see it loading? Yes. Perfect. There is my cover page. If I scroll down, it tells me this is the buyer's tour and it is prepared for Dwayne. We're going to go look at these homes together, Dwayne. Here's my resume. Obviously, this would need to be built out more. If I scroll down, it's going to have my contact information. They can use this QR code to download the report as a PDF so that if they want to save it onto their phone or onto their computer, they could do that. And then we go to a map of the listings. It gives the address, the MLS number, the pricing, and maps them in the order 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's going to give them information about each property. So different than the way it looks when you give them that sheet from the MLS, we've got all the property information, we've got the first two main photos, and then it actually gives every single listing photo that's in the MLS in addition to that. And then below that, you'll see there's going to be area schools that are near the home. That pulls from greatschools.org. So it's going to pull by distance here, and it includes both public and private. Catholic schools are all in here. It's going to have all schools there. And then also area restaurants by location and their Yelp reviews are also located here. The next thing it has is a buyer comments page. So this is a nice way for the client to be able to kind of take notes. You know, they could put in here, loved the floors. The main floor bath needs to be updated, whatever notes that they need to keep in order to keep the property straight. So this is just an easy way for them to keep notes right here in the information that you're handing to them, this packet. All right, I'm going to scroll down. There's my second one. You get the gist. This is how it appears. Again, we've got the area schools. We've got area restaurants. You'll see they changed because this one's way further south. The other one is further north. And then they have the ability to put comments about this property as well. And that goes on. Any questions about this PDF? Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, I want to show you, feel free, you guys, we're a small group, feel free to just ask away, just make me pause, and I can answer those. I'm going to go back to my buyer tours, either clicking here or at the top. And when I'm back here, once these load, you can see next to Dwayne Sullivan, it's got 4 properties. There's the PDF. I can click here to get to the PDF. You'll now see that there's a view slideshow version. This is a really great way to let them do the same process that we saw on paper in a digital format. It does not require an app. It is optimized for an iPad, but it is browser based, which means you use Safari or Chrome or Firefox. You use a browser, you don't use an app. So you can be on any device to do the slideshow version as long as you have the browser capabilities. So they could be on a tablet, they could be on a phone, they could be on a computer. The slideshow works for all devices. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that view slideshow so that you can see what this looks like. Here again, it says buyer tour for Dwayne Sullivan, and then it pulled the front photos of all the properties we're going to see on the front. Down in the bottom right corner, you'll see this optimized for iPad. I want you to take notice of the arrow in the home. Anytime I click the home button, it's going to take me back to where I was. And anytime that you see an arrow, that means there's more information that direction. As I start to flip through these slides, you'll see that more arrows appear backwards and then also down. So let's get going on that. I'm the first one. The information is there for them, my information. And then again, it's going to map the properties. I'm not going to click on them, but you can see these little homes. If I clicked on them, it would take me directly to the information about those properties. So their little greenhouses appear on this map. You can see now I've got back arrows and forward arrows and that home button. So I'm going to keep going forward. Here's the first home, and now I have a down arrow. It's a little bit hard to see in the cement because it's kind of a grayed out color. But if I click down, they have the ability to digitally rate this property. So they could say 5 stars for this one, loved primary, bedroom, main floor bath, or floor laundry, floors, not my favorite. Whatever it might be, and then they click save, and that's saved. You can see I still have more down arrows. So instead of that rate the property sheet being at the end of the listing like it is in the PDF, the property photos come down further. And these are clickable. If they're like, I want to see that dining room up close, you can just click on it to see it. I can keep going down for more photos. This property had a lot of photos. I can always click the home button to come back to the map. It's always going to take me back home. But then I'm going to keep going to the next one. So then I can get to the next property. I've got that down arrow. I can again rate this property and say, I did not like it. Off the list, did not like it. Maybe you don't like location. They can save that comment. And then again, they can keep scrolling down to see the property photos and so on. The difference between the digital version and the PDF version, there's way less. So it's just the properties. You've got my contact information, the mapping of the properties, and then all the property information. Then what they can do at the end is they can enter their email address and click send. And it will not only send what the PDF version to them, to their email, but it will also include their star ratings. It will include any of those comments that they made. And you will also be copied on that. So you will receive a copy of it as well. So you'll be able to go back and say, hey, that 168th Street property, you didn't care for the main floor laundry, but you really liked this, or you'd be able to really remember the property and what they did or didn't like because they took the notes for you. Do you have a question on this live version or the slideshow version? No?
Not a significant question, but the first one, you actually had your resume on the first one, and on this, you don't have your resume, correct?
Correct. Correct. So the slideshow version is like a very simplified version of it. It has just the map and it has your contact information and the properties. But when they put their email in at the end, it will email them the PDF that has all the additional pages, but also include their notes. Yeah. Another thing I want to show you that I love about Cloud CMA. Let me switch sharing screens here. Hold on just a moment. Where are you? As the agent, let me cancel this. As the agent, the system automatically sends you an email. I'm going to pull this up. There we go. All right. Can you see the email that says buyer tour Dwayne Sullivan? Helpful information?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is an email that comes to you as the agent when you create the buyer tour. It's going to include the link to the PDF for you. And then for super easy access while you are out and around, it has mapped the properties. So each of these addresses that you see are blue. They are links to a Google map. So you can just click on it and it'll take you to your Google Maps on your phone and you can click directions. It'll take you directly there, but also gives you the showing instructions and the listing agent's information, their phone number, their email address, all written out and broken out for you. The client does not receive this. This is just for you as the agent, which I think is just super handy that you've got this, presentation that goes to them, goes to you. You can do that slideshow version, but then you get this kind of behind the scenes email that gives you directions and information on each of the listing agents and their contact. So I think that's a cool little thing that just kicks right back to you the second you create the buyer tour.
Very good.
Any questions on that? No? Okay. If there's no questions on Cloud CMA, then I am going to go ahead and start sharing my RPR on my phone. Give me just a second here. Are you familiar with RPR? If you are not, RPR, yes. Okay, good. I thought some of you may be and some of you might not be. RPR is Realtor Property Resource. It is a benefit to you through your NAR membership, so National Association of Realtors. You can make your own account with NAR or with RPR, excuse me. The email or the web address to create an account is NAR RPR. So that stands for National Association of Realtors, Realtor Property Resource. So NAR RPR. And to create it, all you're going to have to do is give them your last name and what we call your NERDS number or your NRDS number. That is your kind of your association number with NAR. If you can't find that and you want to create an account, you can let me know and I can look it up. We do track those in our system as well. But RPR, awesome resource. We did CMAs with this a few weeks ago. We also showed you how to do prospecting for farming, for getting labels in this. It's just an awesome resource. RPR pulls not only MLS data to show you active properties, pending properties, and sold, but it also pulls public record, which just gives you tons more information. So you could be looking at an off-market property and have information on the sold data. It goes so far to give you mortgage data on all these properties. So you can see all the information on the property, the liens on the property, how the deed is held, who's entitled, things like that. Awesome resource. But what I'm going to show you today is their buyer tour. And this one you have to do from the app. So if you create an account on NAR RPR, then you can download the RPR app. And this is what the home screen looks like. I am going to immediately go to the bottom of the home screen and you'll see reports on the bottom left. So there's 3 round buttons at the bottom. I can't really show you with the cursor. So as soon as I touch it, it's going to disappear. So I want to make sure you see it. The reports button in the bottom left corner, it's a circle. That's where I'm going to click. It's going to give me some options. You'll see up in the top bar, I already have an address selected or a zip code. I can clear that out or I can leave it there. That was based off my location. So I can leave that out. It doesn't matter if I'd left it in, but I'm just going to go down to where it says buyer tour. You see, I have 3 options here from this page where it says market activity, neighborhood report, and then buyer tour. So at the very bottom, I'm going to click buyer tour. If you try to do this on your desktop, you will not see this option appear. So here again, it pulls by my location. You can see underneath add known properties, it has the Omaha, Nebraska 68154. That is because that is the zip code in which I'm in right now. And you can see that it pulled in all of the listings that are in that area. So we have 2 ways to create this buyer tour in RPR. I can on the map, just kind of zoom in and click around and find the homes that I'm going to show. Okay, let's just take this beautiful $2.1 million. Let's go show this one. Dwayne, you want to buy this one? He's sleeping.
Yes, I do.
So when I find it on the map, I can click on the dot and then you'll see that add button right underneath the address. So if I click add under the address, it is now going to be a part of my buyer tour. You can see up next to where it says add known properties, it says 1 property added. Now I know that's a part of the report. So I can keep going around on my map. I can always click this redo search in this area and then it won't focus on my location. If I want to find the homes this way, I can absolutely do that. And then click that add button at the bottom and go back to my map and find them this way. Now, if I'd done the homework ahead of time and I know the property addresses, I can just click that add known properties button and I can start to add them by address. It says you can add by listing ID, which to me says your MLS ID number, but it doesn't seem to work. So I have to put the address in. And then it tells me that that property has been added. So I'm going to do one more that way to show you how that works. So I just started typing in the address 5903 North 163rd, and you'll see it pulls up. So then or 168th, I think is the one. So then I just click on the one that I want to add. So at the top, you can see 4 properties have been added right above this bar. Above that, you'll see we've got a 3-step process. 1 was pick the report. That's when we selected buyer tour. 2 was when we added the properties, either by zooming in on the map and selecting them or adding them in the add known properties. And now I'm going to click the next button on the very bottom of the screen. So if you go below the map, you'll see sort and filters. Below that is the next button. So I'm going to click the blue next button. and it's going to show me the 4 properties that I have on my tour. You see them here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can modify the order in which they are going to appear by clicking on the drop down that says first. Maybe I want that one to be third. I want this other one to be first. I can remove it at the top if I want to. I can add notes. Here is my note, and this will appear in the report. So if you add notes in RPR, it does appear in the report to your client. So here I'm just going to confirm that these are the properties that I want to be part of my buyer's tour. And then I'm going to click next at the bottom. So again, I'm going to the bottom of these and click next. And then next again, I want to include all report sections and cover all of them. And then I can choose to download it or email it. I'm going to email it so that I can switch to my computer to show you this because it will be easier. You can CC yourself. It will automatically include that option in your account if you want to send it to yourself as well. And then I can just click run report. That is as easy as it is to do in RPR. Okay, I'm going to let that pull into my account here on my computer, and I'm going to show it to you here and what that looks like. Okay, this is the desktop version of RPR. So I can't create a buyer tour here, but I can get my buyer tour when it's ready. So do you see this one right here? When it's ready, I can come right here and click the download button on the desktop version if I want to. If I don't want to wait for it to be emailed to me, because sometimes it takes a few minutes. So I wanted to be able to show you this. Did it switch your view? So now you see a PDF buyer tour?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. The difference, a big difference between the buyer tour with Cloud CMA and RPR is this is a very simplified version. You're not going to get a lot of visuals like the pictures, but it does give you a nice side-by-side comparison. So if I scroll down, it gives you the map. It's in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, however I decided. It has my information here that's pulled in from my RPR account. It does give a side-by-side comparison of the properties, which I actually really like. You can really see the difference between them side by side. And if I scroll to the very bottom, remember when I added a note to one property, this is where your notes would appear. So it would give the description or the property details, and then it would include your note at the bottom. I'm going to keep scrolling down, and then it's just going to give me a 1-page detail about each property. Again, a great option if you want to create just a quick grab and go packet to take with you to give to your client on a buyer tour. This is another really easy, great option. And again, I created this from my phone, and that link is going to come to my email, and I could email it straight to the client. So no printing would actually have to be done. Excuse me. I could just get that link to my client and say, all right, we're ready to go. And they would have this PDF version in their email. I know some of us are printers. Some of us like to take notes or have something to write on, and that's great too. That's why I wanted to show you. We've got PDF versions, we've got digital versions, but this is the buyer tour in RPR. Any questions on this one? This is when you can unmute yourself and ask questions if you have it. If you don't, great.
How do you begin this one on this?
This one
This
was
RPR.
from my
Yeah.
app.
Okay.
So in the app, I went to the reports button on the bottom left, and it gave me the option of buyer tour, and it was just quick 3 steps. Yep.
And you said you can only access through your phone app?
The buyer tour can only be created through the app, which is just really interesting to me because it creates a PDF, which is not a digital app-based product. So it's really funny to me that you can't create it from the desktop version, but everything.
I have a side question. So
Sure.
Currently I don't have access. I don't have my phone set up to print. So I can at some point call the tech people and have them print from my phone.
Dan, do you have an iPhone?
iPhone, yes.
So actually, when you have an iPhone, you don't have to download anything to your phone. You can just go to the print button on your phone, which looks like the share button. So it's like the little square or rectangle with the up arrow, like when you're on a document, you can click that button and go to print. And then when you click find printers, it will find the MP Dodge printer. The only thing you'll have to do when you print from your phone is enter your username and password, which is for your email. So you'd be D Adams and then whatever your email password is.
Thank you. That's good to know.
Yeah, so you don't actually have to have anything installed. And if you're in the office and you want me to show you sometime, we can do that. So even though it is app-based, like I said, it will email to you. So you could do it from your phone and then go to your email on a desktop and print it there also. So you wouldn't just have to print it from your phone. It would be sent to your email. You just have to create it from your phone, from the app. All right, if there are no more questions, that is what I have for you today. Find me if you want to go over that sometime. Meet me in the offices when I'm at your office. We can do it in person. If you don't have a Cloud CMA account and you would like one, email me or say it now. I can check for you. I can create it if that one looks more favorable to you. Or RPR, remember, is NAR RPR. And I will send out an email after this with all this information so you can just respond to that.